Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? It's time for another makeup testing session. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is CAndiSMR, and I'm very happy to see you here today. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out the rest of my videos, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I am going to be testing HIGHR makeup lip samples. Each of these shades and hues come in these cute little unscrewable jars, and this also comes with an applicator. And with each of these, I'm going to use the applicator, apply it to my lips, see my first impressions on the shade, and with each of these samples, I'm going to do a little kiss recording session on this page, like that. And then at the end, we can find out which one of these shades I prefer the most and which shades you prefer the most. And we also have a little bit of a bonus. This sample box came with this HIGHR lip balm. It's cherry flavored, and I am utterly obsessed with this. So if you're looking for something that is deemed as organic, because this is certified organic, I highly recommend getting the HIGHR brand, and the cherry flavor is just to die for. So I'm going to put a little bit on my lips for now, but it smells so good, you guys. You have to get one of these. Alright, so while we do our recording session, I also am going to show these towelettes. So as I'm trying each of these samples, we don't want the data to be overlapping, right? We also want to start with a baseline every time we try a new sample. That's how data testing and recording should work. So just to make sure I'm back on the baseline after each round, I'm going to be cleaning my lips with these moist towelettes. Sounds good? Sounds great. All right. We've waited long enough. So let me go ahead and open the box for you, and we can see what each of these lip makeup samples look like. Here we go. So, and I'll read each of these portions of this box to you. We get it. You're here for the color, but please indulge us. We exist as a company because traditional lip products are made with synthetic ingredients. Since everything on the lip is ingested, and ingesting silicone and polyethylene is probably not great for you on a daily basis, we craft lip products with organic ingredients and plant derivatives to reframe what is acceptable in this invasive category. We know that sounds scary, and beauty is no place for scary unless it's Halloween. But hey, it's our reason for existing as a company, so why not let us know? What is HIGHR? Organic and plant-derived ingredients. We blend organic raw materials with plant-derived innovation for a 99% natural origin lipstick. Our organic raw materials make up the majority of our formulations. Sounds lovely. Clinical trials. In third-party clinical trials, HIGHR lipstick was proven to moisturize the lips for over 24 hours, even after removal, and instantly boost hydration in the lip by up to 110%. That's really something. And then finally, tube innovation. Our full-size lipsticks have a built-in mirror in the cap. We wanted to design you a functional lipstick tube, so these 5 down here, making it more useful for on-the-go application. So they're talking about these 5 little tubes right here at the bottom, and on top is the lipstick applicator. So I really like this formation already. It kind of reminds me of a box of chocolates because you see all the assortments as they are. And you can just take out each of the little jars, unscrew, and then we can take a look at what each of these look like. So here's the applicator. I'm going to take this out as well. And I think it would be fun to use this applicator for each of these so we can stay as close to the full effect as possible. Okay, now while we are here, I don't want to forget our trusty little, well, not so little, notebook for our data recording sessions. So while we are here, I need to draw a quick little table for us, and we'll go back to this to rely on each of the lipstick samples. Now, I usually have this in the portrait alignment. I'm going to do landscape this time since it kind of matches the landscape setting of the box. So I'll say setting 1, setting 2, setting 3, setting 4, setting 5. And then we can just record each of the lipstick samples underneath each of these. Okay, so while we are here, let's take a look at the first little jar, including its name, our perception of the color, and what it looks like on the lips. So the bottom says Chateau 1. So I'm going to add that underneath setting number 1 just to make sure. So Chateau 1. Okay, let me unscrew this and see what this looks like here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's got a sweet little peach color to it, but a little bit more of a matte, dusty pink undertone. It actually matches the color of my bottom lip quite well, and it also reminds me of this raspberry sorbet that my family likes to have. So it's kind of like a salmon color, but with more of a cool undertone to it. So with that, let me get my stylus out. I'm going to also get a cleansing wipe because I think it's good to clean our materials before every use, including before the first use. So just clean this a little bit. Alright, that should look good there. Take a little sample and let's see what this looks like. Put a little on the bottom lip. Oh, it kind of smells good. And often I like to just apply it on one of my 2 lips first, just to see, do I like it on both lips or do I like it on a singular lip? I do like how smoothly the applicator glides on my lip while I'm applying this, and the smoothness of the lipstick is quite nice. It feels very moisturizing. And the color itself, I actually quite like it. It goes nice with my natural tone on my bottom lip. It goes nicely with this background. It goes nicely with this top. I'm trying to go for a little bit more of a muted, toned down feel. And it, like I said before, it's very nicely moisturizing. Yeah, so I do like this one a lot, and I think it almost makes my natural bottom lip color pop. So it looks nice just on the bottom lip, in my opinion. Now let's see what it looks like when I apply it to both lips. So now that it's on the top lip, I feel like it looks kind of bold, because I'm always used to a darker color on top and a lighter one at the bottom. But in terms of the lips themselves, when I see them by themselves, I think it looks quite lovely, at least for a photo reference. But I'm not used to seeing myself with a bright-ish color on both the top lip and the bottom lip. So another thing I'm observing here is that the color is quite bold, the color from the HIGHR brand. It isn't toned down when it matches with your natural skin tone at all, at least not with mine. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We all have our own preferences on how we want our makeup to feel, how we want our makeup to look, and what parts of our beauty we want our makeup to emphasize. Just for this one, I'm slightly taken aback whenever I apply it to my top lip. But I will agree, it looks very nice on the bottom lip for sure. But either way, it does look very lovely, at least at the bottom lip. And also, I feel like once I applied it to the top lip, I feel it almost melted into my face a little bit. I'm used to something a little bit more distinguished. I do wonder, actually, hold on, if I apply my lip liner and then add the lipstick, I wonder if I'll like it more on the top lip. So let me try applying this again and see what this looks like with the lip liner. And it might make no difference at all, but I want to at least try, because this is all about how testing works. So, okay, here it is. So the lip liner I've been using is called Line Loud. It's just a lip pencil, but I do like the dark brown outline. I haven't put this on too often, so bear with me, it's not going to be perfect, but that's fine. So I'm just going to do a little bit on top. Just going to softly draw across. I'm just going to draw it on the top lip because I really want to emphasize that I want the top lip to be darker. See how that is. I want it to be as natural looking as possible. So let's try this again. going to start with the top lip this time. I'm not going to apply as much either, because honestly, less is more. Okay, that's not too bad. And then when I add the rest at the bottom here. It gives a little bit more of a contrast once I add the lip liner to it, at least for the top lip. I just add a tiny bit more because I want to make sure I have enough to record with, and I'm really curious to see what it looks like on the paper. But I am going to save plenty in case I want to do some makeup math with it. For those of you who don't know what makeup math is in my videos, that's when I have one lipstick sample on my top lip, another lipstick sample on my bottom lip, and then I combine them. But I do lip print kisses of all three, so sample 1, sample 2, and then both of them combined, just to create a bit of a table, a reference table. Okay, I think I like it a little more now that I apply the lip liner, but I still think it looks good just with the bottom lip, at least in my opinion. But it is a really fun little color, and it does bring back some delightful summer memories, especially of raspberry sorbet. So with that, let's see what this looks like on the paper. Let's do our first little kiss here in 3, 2, and 1. And I love that it includes the top lip liner I included. I think I'll do that with the rest of the samples. Apply the lip liner on the top lip just to give a little bit more of a contrast and see where we can go from there. But look at that cute contrast it has between the brown and the dusky pink, and at least for me it gives a nice emphasis on my natural skin tone. And I like to believe that makeup is there to emphasize our beauty, not change us into a different kind of person or change our appearance too dramatically. So it does look quite fun on the paper. All right, so let's go ahead and clean this applicator, and we're going to clean our lips as well, and then we'll move on to sample number 2. I really like this applicator though. I think it's very, very shiny. Well, besides being shiny, it's just really fun to hold. It's like a little stylus that you can put on an iPad, and I think I almost feel like great tingles just holding it and tapping it. So good here. Always start with a clean slate. Okay, let's screw this back on, but I'm not going to put it back in its original position, otherwise I may lose my place. Okay, so from this box we're going to take out sample number 2, and this one is called Blue Jeans number 2. I'm immediately channeling my brain into Blue Jeans by Lana Del Rey, one of my favorite singers. But let's see, maybe this color may surprise us a little bit. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the pink side or on the red side, maybe even on the orange side. Let's take a look. It kind of looks like the last one, but a little bit more on the muddier side. It almost looks like it's a combination of the hue of my bottom lip and the hue of my upper lip. Still leaning towards the hue on my bottom lip though. But we should always leave some room for some surprises. So again, this is Blue Jeans number 2. So I'll add that in quotations. Blue Jeans number 2. Just like that. Now, just like last time, I'm going to start with my lip liner. Apply this on top just to give more of an emphasis on the contrast between my top lip and my bottom lip. I don't know why I went this long without having a lip liner, at least for my top lip, because I think it's quite fun. Okay. Alright. So there we go. Just like that. Now we'll get the applicator. Just as so, like that. Do a little dip into the jar. Get a little sample here. I'm going to start it on the bottom lip, see what that looks like. Alright, so this one looks very similar to the last one. A little bit more of a dusky pink. Maybe slightly darker compared to the last one. It's very smooth as well. It doesn't feel chunky at all, which is lovely. One less thing to stress about for our busy days. I probably applied a little too much with this one because it almost completely covered the lip liner, but that's okay. I'm just testing to see what each one is like color-wise. Now, if I just look at the bottom lip, I think it does highlight my natural color very well. Goes nicely with the shirt, goes nicely with the background. It is slightly darker. It's a little bit more rosy compared to Chateau number 1, but I do think it's quite charming. This one reminds me more of the color of salmon, while the first one reminds me more of the raspberry sorbet. So there's that. Let's do a little kiss recording on the page just to see if there's any kinds of differences between Blue Jeans, which is this one, and Chateau. Okay, so sample number 2 recording in 3, 2, 1. Now on the page, it turns more into a rosy, muddy hue. I think it has a little bit more of an edgy kick. You can see little traces of the dark brown lip liner on top. So that's very nice. It gives a little bit more of that contrast. And it does go on very nicely. I don't see any signs of clumps or any kinds of discontinuity within the substance. It's very moisturizing for sure. So let me go ahead and move on to the third sample. Let me just screw this back. And clean my lips. We always need to go back to the baseline. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at lipstick sample number 3 from HIGHR Organic Lipstick. So this one is labeled number 3, Truest. Let's see what this one looks like. My hypothesis is that it's either going to be on the rosy side or a little bit more on the rose gold side. You see that? So we're getting rosier and rosier. Now this one actually looks even more sorbet-like compared to Chateau 1. It almost looks like it could be like a plum color, you know what I mean? This one smells a little bit more smoky compared to the other two. The other two were a little bit more on the fruity side, a subtle fruity kind of scent. But this one, it almost smells nostalgic. It's very interesting, but it's a little bit more on the smoky side, at least with Truest number 3. So let me put in a little bit of lip liner. I think just for the sake of consistency, we can add a little bit of lip liner. I'm going to try not to apply as much so we can really emphasize the liner on top. Get a nice slab of that. Since this one's a little bit more rosy, I wonder if it's going to affect my perception of the natural blush in my cheeks. Sometimes some hues emphasize them and sometimes other hues take them away. I'll just get a tiny little sample of it, just like that. I'll start with the bottom lip. Oh, this actually looks a little bit more purple once I apply it to my lips at least. It almost, I'm looking past the camera right now because it almost looks like it matches the color of my adorable piggy bank. If y'all have seen my Mary Kate consultant ASMR roleplay video, you've definitely seen that at the end. This one looks kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of the earlier days of looking at the Mary Kay beauty products. And it feels a little bit more flirty with a touch of elegance and sophistication, at least in my opinion. I'm kind of surprised at myself because I'm usually not into the very rosy hues. I usually prefer ones that are a little bit more on the brown side or the salmon side, but this one almost looks like a royal purple. I'm just going to use the residual amount for the top lip. Now with this one, and it may be partially due to the lip liner, but I'm seeing a little bit more of a contrast between my upper lip and the bottom lip. I think it's partially due to the color, but actually I think it's even more due to not using as much of an amount when I applied it. But I think this color is also a little bit more forgiving in terms of showing the contrast between my upper lip and my lower lip, and that's always something I'm personally looking for in my makeup. In terms of whether it's emphasizing my natural blush or taking it away, this one's still a little bit more of a cooler undertone, so I think it might be taking away my natural blush, because my natural blush is a little bit more on the warmer undertone, salmon side. But it's okay to break the rules a little bit every now and then, I think, because I still really like this color. Thus far, I think so far this is my favorite of the three. What is this called again? Truest. And just so you all know how serious I am with this color and how it reminds me of the piggy bank, I'm going to bring out the piggy bank and show you. See, it's so close. It's like the background color of this pink, but even with the purple, it looks quite nice. I might need to dust her off in a little bit. You're getting all dusty. But y'all see what I mean? It's really nice. It does give me a little bit of nostalgia. So anyway, I'll go ahead and close this and do a quick little recording of Truest. So let me write that down. I almost forgot to write this down. So setting 3 is Truest, and I believe it's number 3. Yes, this is number 3. All right, let's do our little lip testing recording session in 3, 2, and 1. So this one's definitely the rosiest of the 3 samples so far. I'm loving this idea of adding the lip liner. It gives such a nice set of definition. Why haven't I done this sooner? These are always quite fun. I missed doing these with you all. Okay, another cleaning session. We have 2 more samples to test for today. Fresh-faced. Alright, so going back to the HIGHR Organics box, we have 2 lip samples left for us to test, and then maybe later on we can do a little makeup mad lipstick testing session together and create even more tricks. So with this one is labeled number 5, Chill Turn. This is what it looks like. I keep on forgetting that each of these little jars come with a little mirror. So number 5, Chill Turn. Let me double check to see if there's actually a mirror. A slight mirror. That's cute. Okay, so this is Chill Turn. It's a little bit more on the red side. So we kind of moved from salmon pink to a muddy brown to a rosy dusty pink, and now we're moving a little bit more towards the reds with Chill Turn. So let me write that down before I forget. And this is a number 5. at least based on where each mini jar was when I first opened it. Okay, so I'm really curious to see what this is going to look like with the brown lip liner. I think brown and red can go very well together. I think this is going to be a nice emphasis for my top lip. I'm not sure how it's going to be for the bottom, since the bottom lip tends to be more of a subtle tone, while the top has a little bit more of a bold tone. But let's find out. So starting with the lip liner, go across, go down, 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 meet the middle, across, down, 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 down. There we are. Gonna play it up a little bit, just add a little bit more. I mean, even this alone with the lip balm would be nice. Okay, so now let's get the HIGHR Organics applicator. Dip a little bit into gel turn. And remember, we're going to do a little bit, because a little bit always goes a long way. So, bottom. Look at that contrast immediately. This one reminds me of some of the colors from HIGHR Organics. It has in some of our earlier videos as well. I have a few more samples of HIGHR Organics I'm excited to test with you all and turn that into a makeup math session as well. So stay tuned. Just a little more here. I mean, already at the stark color contrast between a little bit more on the brown on the top lip and the red on the bottom lip. Let's see what's together. This one's quite lovely. I do like this one a lot. It reminds me of that shade Merlot from HIGHR Organics. It was a nice shade of red, and it wasn't too overpowering. It did a good job emphasizing the natural tones on the lips and on the skin. But I also might be priming myself because I just put some brown lip liner on. However, in terms of the combination alone, it does look very lovely, especially for nighttime. I think this would be very nice for the night or for the evening. It definitely jumps out in terms of the background and the top. However, I think it does bring out my natural blush a tiny bit. So with that, let's see what this looks like on the paper. And just as before, this one's very moisturizing, and at the same time, I do appreciate that it doesn't take a lot of moisturized towelettes to take it off either. So let's see what this one looks like on our sample page. Okay, so gel turn number 5 for setting number 4. Testing recording in 3, It looks like a hot pink once I apply it onto the page. And it looks even closer to the color of my piggy bank compared to this one. But this one looked like it was the color of my piggy bank when it was on my lips. How interesting is that? This is why I love to see what it looks like on different kinds of mediums. Many colors may look different on the lips compared to on a sample page. And that's one of the things I find the most exciting with these makeup lip testing sessions. Okay, so last but certainly not least, we have one more lipstick sample from HIGHR Organics to test out. Again, if you're really enjoying these and you want to see more lipstick or makeup based ASMR videos or anything else ASMR related, feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear your feedback and connect with you all, and I appreciate you all for your support. So let me screw this back on here. Alright, so here is our last run from the HIGHR Organics box. This one is called Pamela number 7. I think Pamela is a lovely name. It's got a lot of charm to it. I wonder if this one's going to be on the red side or the pink side. Let's find out together. So this one, at least on its own, seems to be the brownest of the samples. It does have a little bit of a dusky pink undertone. I could see how this would match with my bottom lip. I could also see how this would match with my top lip if I have a lighter color on my bottom lip or just some lip balm on my bottom lip. So let's explore this a little bit further. I'm going to write down the actual sample name. Pamela number 7. All right. We'll get our little applicator here. Get those prepared. And let's start again with our lip liner, because I think not only is it giving a nice contrast on my skin and my face, but it's giving a nice contrast on the sample sheet. And it's always fun to look back on. Makeup is art. So just drawing across here and down, 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 down. Tracing the lip up a little bit. Down, 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 down. I don't have too much of a Cupid's bow. I don't think I have one at all, actually. I mean, I have a tiny one. Gonna draw it in a little bit, just dabbing. Alright, there we go. And without further ado, let's see what Pamela number 7 looks like with the applicator. So just getting a little bit, dab, 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 dab. We'll start with the bottom lip. This one reminds me of coffee, actually. This has a little bit more of a coffee tone. It's quite bold, but muted at the same time, if you know what I mean. It's bold in terms of the substance and how it's placed on the skin, but the actual hue is muted. It's quite opaque, but I think it's partially due to how much I actually put on my lips. So instead of getting some more on the top lip, I'm just going to bite my lips together. Just get it along on top. This one definitely matches my top the most. I'm kind of surprised because at first when I just had it at the bottom lip, I was thinking that it might wash everything out. But because it goes so well with the top and the background, and kind of the jewelry a little bit too, even though it has a little bit more of a cooler undertone, I kind of like it. I think this would be fun for day wear or evening wear. And it has its own charm to it. I kind of like its muted hue. It's a very delicate rose undertone, but it reminds me of coffee, especially like iced coffee. Other memories I'm getting from this one, besides its lovely smell, this one smells really good. I remember one time during the holidays we had, what was it? Velvet hot chocolate. So the hot chocolate drink, but velvet flavored. And it had that subtle rosy tone to it. So that's the other thing this one reminds me of. It's quite lovely. I really like how it blends with the top and the background especially, and the jewelry. Now, in terms of my blush, I think it kind of washes them out because it's such a cool undertone, but it's still so much fun to try, you know what I mean? And just like with the others, it glides on so smoothly. I adore this applicator especially. I'm definitely going to continue using this applicator, whether with HIGHR Organics, HENNE Organics, maybe even Bee Balm. There's so many. But that one is quite fun, and there's a large sample in this one, so I'm definitely going to be using this more often for makeup matte. So stay tuned. We're just going to have some more ideas together. Okay, so let me clean this up. Yeah, this applicator is phenomenal. I'm definitely going to be using this in several future videos. That's definitely worth getting. So let's see what this looks like on paper. My hypothesis is that since this was the brownest looking sample of them all, is probably going to be like a dark brown. I think it's going to be similar to Chateau 1 or Blue Jeans 2, but with a darker undertone to it, or a darker shade, but I could be wrong. So let's go ahead and find out. So Pamela number 7 is for setting number 5, recording session in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. I thought it was going to be a little darker than Blue Jeans 2, but it looks like they're very similar in darkness. This one might be a little bit lighter, a little bit more rosy than Blue Jeans 2 as well, which is quite ironic. But nevertheless, it was very fun to try these. So, as we are looking through each of these samples, if there's a sample you preferred the most, or there's a sample that you were thinking about trying, or any sample that brings great fond memories, feel free to comment down below. Let's get into the conversation about how fun makeup can be and how they can emphasize our beauty. You know what I mean? All right. So I think for the grand finale, I'm just gonna put the the HIGHR Organics lip balm on again. This is what it looks like. It has that subtle yellow hue on there, and it smells so good. Like I said, it's a nice cherry flavor. It's got that nice shimmer. I've also got another video that talks about different types of lip balm, comparing them based on the scent, whether it's more shimmery or shiny, how well it moisturizes. So feel free to check that out as well. All right. Well, this has been a blast. I hope you all enjoyed this video just as much as I have. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.